Welcome to day 2 of our cushion cover crochet along. Today we're going to be squaring off our cushions, ready to finish off these 2 panels so that tomorrow we can join them and get our crochet cushion finished. So with our stitch markers, we're going to place and map out where our corners are going to be, which will make the next part that little bit easier for us. So you can place your first marker in any of the cluster spaces. I'll randomly grab that one there. And then we need to leave the next 6 unmarked. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to place my marker there and do the same again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Place another marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So after this marker is placed, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that works out. And as you can see, they're quite evenly spaced. So for round 7, we're going to square off this circle. We're going to start in this first space here. I need my cream. There we are. Very bravely take that out and replace the stitch marker with my yarn and attach. So where we've popped these stitch markers in, these are going to be our corners. So it just makes it a little bit easier to make sure we've done the right stitch count. I promise. So for round 7, we're going to start by doing a chain 4. So as always, just yarn over to bring your loop up and then count 4 chains. If you didn't know, a chain 4 is equivalent to a treble crochet, which is a double treble in UK terms. So for this, we wrap the yarn around the hook twice before we insert it into this space. So bringing the yarn towards you, wrap your hook twice, insert the hook into the cluster space that you've joined and done your chain 4, yarn over, bring a loop up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now, because this is a corner, we need to chain 2, and then we're going to work a further 2 treble crochets into that same cluster space. So wrap your yarn twice, reinsert your hook into the same stitch or cluster space again, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And again, we're going to wrap our yarn twice back into that same cluster space, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And that creates our first corner. Rather than carrying on with this wonderfully tall stitch, we're going to work into the top of each of the stitches across. Now what you may not realise is, you pull that down slightly, that tiny hole there is the top of this stitch, and we need to make sure we never miss it, because otherwise our stitch counts will all be wrong and we won't be creating a square. So into the top of this first stitch, which is just hiding underneath those stitches, we're going to place a treble crochet. So we wrap our yarn twice, insert our hook at the top of that stitch. I'm going to put my tail over, yarn over, bring that loop back through, just as before. You pull through 2, and pull through 2. The next 3 stitches that we work, we're going to work a normal double crochet. So we yarn over once, insert, and complete our double crochet 3 times. So that's 1, work into the next stitch, 2, yarn over, work into the next stitch. That will be number 3. We're then going to reduce the stitch height again and work half double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2. Just to confuse myself, I've got to work over or underneath my slip stitches here. So if like me, if you slip stitch across, you'll see you've got your slip stitches towards you. Just underneath them, you'll find your stitch. That was number 3 for the half double crochets. Then we're going to reduce the stitch again and work single crochets into the next 4. So that's 1, 2, there's number 3, so the top of this stitch, 3 and 4. To balance out, see, it probably doesn't look very flat right now, but to balance out the rest of this to get us back to this point, we're going to reverse what we've just done. So we're going to increase our stitch height this time. So we're going to go up to a half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So we've got 1, 2 and 3. Let's increase that stitch height again. So we do a double crochet, 1, 2 and 3. Oh, thank goodness, we've got 1 stitch left, which is just what we needed. So in our last stitch, we're going to increase our height again before we work our next corner. So we yarn over the hook twice and work a treble crochet into the top of that last stitch. I'm going to remove this stitch marker, and then we can work our corner, which is 2 treble crochets. Oops, dropped it. Let's try that again. Wrap twice. So that's 1 treble. I'm going to work another into the same corner space. Chain 2. Wrap twice. Going to work back into that same corner space, placing the other 2 treble crochets. Oh, I dropped it again. I'm blaming looking at the camera. There we go. And there we are. We've completed our first edge. I promise you, by the time you come all the way back round, it will look perfect. So just as we did at the beginning of this round, we're going to work into the top of this stitch. See how it disappears underneath those stitches? It's so naughty. We're going to start by wrapping our yarn around our hook twice, working into the top of this stitch. Make sure you can find it, placing a treble crochet, and then we're going to work 3 doubles across the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to work half double crochets across the next 3. And then for the next 4 stitches, we're going to do a single crochet. So that's the first part of the flat bit done. So then we reverse it all again with 3 half double crochets, followed by 3 double crochets across those next 3 stitches. And we finish this section with our treble crochet into that final stitch before working into our next corner. And once again, just like a little reassurance thing, knowing that my stitch marker is in the right place or I've reached the right point. So into our corner, we're going to work those 2 treble crochets in US terms, chain 2, and then a further 2 trebles, and then move them out of the way. There's that pesky little stitch. We're going to place a treble in that first stitch. Just move them out, those stitches out of the way, and remember it's at the top of this bit that way. And then we just do the same thing again. So 3 double crochets, 3 half double crochets. Oops, I'm so confused talking about different stitches than the one I was doing. Yep, 3 half double crochets, 4 double crochets, and then repeat it back to the other end. There we go. Remembering we should end this with a treble crochet before we go into the next corner space. Three doubles. In that final stitch before our magical marker, we work our treble crochet. Oh, we're on the home straight here on this round, and after that it's plain sailing. So into the corner, we're going to work 2 trebles. Oh, every time. Chain 2, a further 2 treble crochets, and then we're back to the start of the final bit. So pull them out of the way. There it is, it's hiding. So we're going to do a treble crochet into that first stitch. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3 half doubles, 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets, working our way back up with the half doubles for the next 3 stitches. Increase the stitch size again to 3 double crochets, and then 1 final treble crochet into that last stitch before we slip stitch to the top of that chain 4. Oops, let's stitch at the top of the chain 4. I'm going to slip stitch across that first one and into the corner space. Oh, I'm going to fasten that off. This will not be lying perfectly flat, but once it's all blocked, it is perfection. There we go. Oh, actually, it's pretty flat. That's good. So now we have a square around our circle. That was easy, wasn't it? I'm going to turn and work into a different corner because we'll work over that one in a minute, because we're going to reattach into any corner space. Pink this time for me. There we are. So do your normal way if you want to tie it on or join it on, whatever works best for you. So this is where it gets nice and simple. So this is round 8. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. Just like we have with all the others, we're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. We're going to place, after our chain 3, another double crochet into the same corner space, chain 2, and then work a further 2 double crochets into that same corner space. So now we need to make sure we can find the top of that stitch, because into each stitch across here, we're going to work a double crochet. So making sure that you're working into that one, the one that gets a little bit hidden underneath, we're going to work a double crochet into each of these stitches across this row. This time we are working into the stitches themselves rather than into any cluster spaces or anything like that. We work all the way around to the next corner space. And then we've reached our corner space, and into the corner we work 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So you can see along there how much flatter that's becoming, and it will really help to square it off. So we're going to repeat that the whole way around. Let's do a quick stitch count check. So I'm not going to count the chains here, I'm just going to count from here. So you should have 26 from corner to corner, 26 double crochets. So we've already done our first 2 on this section, and just making sure we go into that first stitch there. We're going to do the same again, and in the corner we work 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So repeat that the whole way around, working a double crochet into each stitch, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into each corner. And I'll meet you back at the end of round, whichever round we're on. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we're going in. This is round 8. I'll meet you at the end of round 8. You can either hit pause and get cracking, or I'll just keep going. So at the end of round 8, we're going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 to join the round. And I'm going to slip stitch across into the corner space, which is where I need to join as well. So we are going to repeat this last round that we've just done. So I have to count them again. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've done rounds 1 to 8. So rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 4 more rounds, just as we did for the last round. So we are going to change our colour if we are changing colours, and reattach it in the corner. And we're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. I say that we're going to start with a chain 3. Oops. 1, 2, and 3. And work a further double crochet into that space, chain 2, and then work those other 2 double crochets into that corner space. Then working into each stitch across, making sure we grab that one there. We are going to work 1 double crochet into each stitch across to the next corner, and then continue to work our corners and every stitch across. So we're going to repeat this round for a total of 4 more rounds, so a total of 12 rows altogether. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 4 more times, including this one. So I'm going to join you at the end of round 12, where we will have all of our rounds done, and then get ourselves ready to join these squares to create our cushion cover. So I will catch up with you at the end of round 12. So I'm at the end of round 12. I have fastened off, and we have our square ready. So we're going to need 2 of these to make our cushion cover. So you may want to repeat the video and start all the way back from round 1 and match your colours if you can, because we're going to join these 2 together to finish off our cushion cover. So I'm going to do a separate video to show the join, and also at the same time I will show you the edging. Now if you have blocking pins and a blocking mat, or a very good yoga mat, which is what I tend to do when things are a little bit too big, I would recommend just lightly dampening these. I've used acrylic yarn, so it will hold quite well. You don't have to block them, because when we join them together, they'll be very square. But if you will feel better about yourself by doing it, by all means block. And I will see you in the next video for us to join our granny squares and finish off our cushion cover.